time. Hello, I'm Lise Colucci, and I'm one of the life coaches at queenbeing.com, where we help you to discover, understand, and overcome narcissistic abuse and toxic relationships. Hello, everyone. That was funny. It was just hanging. It wouldn't let me go live, so I stopped it. Came back on, and here I am. Okay. Hey, guys. How are you today? Let's see. We're going to talk today about... wait. It just came in. Is it working? It says it's working on my end. Let me know if it is. Hello, Suzanne. Am I here? Can you guys hear me? I don't know. Technology isn't a friend today. All right. So we're going to talk about picking up the pieces when you feel lonely, when you feel like you don't know where to start, after narcissistic abuse, after toxic abuse, after an emotionally abusive relationship. What do you do to get your life back again? How can you start getting on track or moving toward a happier, healthier, healing sort of life? So it's working. Good. Okay. So we'll talk about that. If you guys would like, if anyone would like texting notifications of my going live, text me at 33222. Put the word Lise Live, L-I-S-E-L-I-V-E, all as one word, hit send, and I will text you about 10 minutes prior to being on. Hi, Cindy, and is that Kat Dan? Hello, Suzanne, Shastina. Okay, if you need anything, any help or any information around or about narcissistic abuse, head over to queenbeing.com later on and check it out. And join the Spanily over on Facebook or on the paid version of our support groups. Lots of support out there for people who are new to this or who are not knowing where to go for support. Those are great resources for support. All the information is down below in the main description of every video. Also, if you need coaching help, I am available. Check it out down there. If you would like group coaching help, the groups are great because it gives you the support of other people, peers in the group. It's a small group. It's not more than 20. I will break it off then and make a second group because it's too many in a group. And it gives you friendships and support as well as coaching. And we meet weekly for coaching for that, as well as daily messenger check-ins. So check it out below if it's something you're interested in or need for your own healing and growth. Okay, let's keep moving. We're going to talk about, like I said, the loneliness and picking up the pieces, transforming that loneliness into self-love. Somebody worded it like that, and I liked it. Hello, life's a journey. So let's go. Number one, we know this, but we're going to say it again because it's important to hear all the time. If you are trauma bonded, and if you feel like you are constantly thinking about the toxic person and not about your own healing and your own growth in your own life, and you're constantly dwelling on the relationship, no contact with that toxic person can help a lot. It is very important. If you cannot do that for many reasons that people cannot do it, low contact. And by low contact, I mean need to know information only, done through email or a family account that is court approved, if that's the case that you have, and need to know information that pertains to the situation outside of yourself. In other words, they don't need any private information about you. They don't need to know how you're doing, how you're feeling, what you think about, what you care about, any of that. So low contact, business-like. All right. Well, hello, Skydream and Christy and Violet. Hey. So, okay. So what, as I go through this, if you guys have any tips or any questions, go ahead and ask. If you have something unrelated, always go ahead and ask. And if I miss it, just type it again. Okay. All right. Number one thing to remember too is that you are not alone. You are not alone. You can reach out for support. There are people going through the exact same thing you're going through right now. There are people feeling very similar to how you're feeling in their own way, of course, but this is the type of abuse that leaves a person feeling completely alone. And because you can't reach out to your normal sources of support because they don't understand. Most people don't have someone who gets it personally in their life. And other people can unmeaning to, but not viciously and not out of being cruel to you or not understanding, simply don't understand and give really poor validation. So reaching out to people who understand, who have been there, who are going through it, or if need be, toward coaching or therapists. That can be very, very useful and can help you, even if it's just for a short time, or whatever you need. So know that the sources are out there, the resources are out there, and that there are people who are there with you. Okay. Let's see. Suzanne's saying, not sure if this situation is a narcissist happening to me this week. I've been part of a girls group for the past 3 years. Then out of the blue, they just removed me. The leader blocked me. What? I'm sorry. Anyone that remove her from a group, she's awesome. So I don't know. One of the worst things about being in a narcissistic relationship is when they become emotionally unavailable, almost like you didn't exist, says Life's a Journey to them. Yes. And it leaves you feeling alone, right? And it gives you the feeling of loneliness when you're in it. And then when you leave it and you recall back to it, it gives you the feeling of worthlessness because you realize that you weren't important to that toxic person. That's because they aren't actually emotionally available ever. They're faking it. They're being emotionally, they're doing what they know they should do in order to maintain things as they want them to be. And when they want the negative supply, they'll pull away. It's a power tactic. All right. The most well-meaning people can unwittingly do damage because they have no idea what these people are and do, says Violet. Correct. And a simple statement like, well, it takes two in every relationship can completely feel like you are totally alone when you're with your best friend even, or like a family member that's usually there for you. Because yes, that's true in most situations. And we do take accountability for the things we do, and we want to take accountability. But the point is, we can't take responsibility for the person's abuse. And that's the part people don't get, because the abuse is so invisible. It's translucent, right? It's hard to pin down. It's hard to even talk about sometimes. All right. So yeah, I talked about getting help. And know that, that our coaching team is here for you if you need it. And with myself or Angie or Colleen or anyone that is on the team that, speaks to you. And again, the group coaching is there. So yeah, it's good to know it's there, whether you use it or not, right? Okay. So get support in other ways. When you're feeling lonely and you're feeling like you're past the discard phase and you are just like not knowing how to put your life back together and how to start feeling okay again, get support in ways that are not directly related to the abuse. So in other words, take a class and let a teacher teach you something. Get the attention from a teacher about the thing, not seeking attention from people to fill your emotional needs, but seeking the attention it takes to learn something new. Can give you a different sense of yourself. It can give you some support that is caring about something outside of your emotional needs, but is caring about something towards your growth. Does that make sense? Like if you took a class, like say you did an exercise class, and the teacher was super into it, and they really loved when a student, took an interest, and you took an interest and you enjoyed the thing, and you asked them a question like, hey, can you, or if you took a private lesson or whatever, and you did something in there, and they're really helping you understand your own body and how your body moves. You're not sitting there giving them your emotional baggage. You're not sitting there, you're really focusing on this thing you're doing, this new thing. And that teacher is helping you with that new thing that you're doing, and you're both working towards something, toward your growth. That can feel like a totally different kind of support in your life. This is what I did. And it did not take long to get, like, who cares about that stuff? I'm interested in this, to like shift my path towards something, toward myself and my own growth. So somebody says, I hired an organizer. It felt like a deep cleanse. Yes, that kind of thing. Find areas in your life that you want to change and you want to, improve upon, whether it's your health, your body, your physical environment, your mind, your work, whatever it is, and seek help that's outside of it. But remember to be careful, to be emotionally safe to that person, so that you're not dumping your pain and hurt onto them, because that's not what they're there for. Remembering the focus of what they're there for. They're there to teach me this. They're there to help me organize. They're there to, it'll come out if you know them enough. Yeah, I'm going through this thing, and a good being careful you're not falling into a drama about it, and you're actually focusing on the thing, because then you will actually get the support you need versus just another person who doesn't get it. Okay. So, in other words, it's reaching out to the right support for the right things in your life and trying to keep it kind of clean so that you're actually getting the support you need. All right. And other ways you can do that is doing things that are like nurturing for yourself, like go get a massage or go to a spa and, or go get your nails done, but like really pay attention to the fact that somebody is taking care of you in that moment. Don't just sit there and like space out on your phone. You can do that a little bit, but like really, if you're getting a pedicure, realize that there's another human being giving you attention and focus, and they're trying to make your toes pretty. Okay. And they're giving you a little massage and hoping it feels good. They don't want you, it's reciprocal then. And that way you're getting some connection and you're getting care that you need and for the service that you're paying for the massage or whatever. So there you go. And all right. On to the next thing. Okay. What are we saying here? Okay. But be in the moment. Sky Dream says, great advice. Be in the moment when one is taking care of you. That's right. When someone's taking care of you, by you placing your attention on that person and on what they are doing and the care that you're getting or the thing that you're learning or whatever it is, you're being in the moment, yes, which is super useful in breaking trauma bonds, because trauma bonds are tied to something in the past. You're trying to drag into the future and keep it perpetuating into your future, right? We don't want that. So if you're being in the moment, you're actually present. You're actually there, and you know what? You feel better for that time. Most of the time, you at least in those moments, you feel like a human again. Okay, you feel like yourself, sort of. Or a new person, like, who am I? Wow, this is interesting. I've never done this. And you're also benefiting from the actual support that you're trying to get. Otherwise, you're dragging something into it. You're muddying the support you're getting. It's tricky and it takes practice, and being patient with yourself is important. Trying to purge my home of crap. I know it will feel great. Oh, I'm doing that too. It's so good. So good. Okay. Take your time. All right. When you are in this process of healing, when you're in this place in healing where you're feeling lonely and discouraged and like no one gets you and like you don't have support or whatever it is you're feeling, or like you just want it to stop, take your time. And what I mean by that is really take it. This is your time for your healing, and it's about you like no other time in your life. All right. This is a time where you can focus on you, and as soon as you start re-engaging with relationships and friendships and all of that, your time becomes about those things. So this time that you're taking, whether some people give themselves a time, like I won't date for a year. Well, if you're not dating for a year, use that time. Discover yourself. Enjoy the things that you're doing. Let yourself feel the pain you need to feel. Give yourself nurturing within that time and use it. Don't just sit and wait for a year and then say, okay, now I'm ready. That doesn't actually work usually for people. So yeah, okay. You needed this today. You're welcome, Katie. Trauma bonds have ruined a great deal of my life, right? And they steal your time. They steal your time. Okay. And the time for yourself is right now. It's the gift of this is that you get this time for yourself. Unfortunately, there's a heavy price we paid to get here, right? But take it and try it. It's not going to be enjoyable, not all of it. Some of it is, though. But knowing that you're taking that time and being patient with yourself during that time. Okay. Okay, next one is set boundaries. So say no when you need to say no, but also say yes when you want to say yes. That boundary can be with yourself as well. If you're saying no to everything, but really I want to say should, really that it might benefit you to be out there doing more things or reaching out to other people or getting out into life, start saying yes. Set parameters around your yes if you need to. I will go for 2 hours. I will do one class. I will, whatever it is, and do it. Set the boundary and be accountable to it, to yourself. And when you set boundaries with other people, be accountable to that towards yourself as well and hold on to that boundary. It does help you regain yourself. It helps you put the pieces back together because it creates order and structure where everything is just all over the place. So I know the feeling I felt, and I don't know, a lot of people say this, they feel unreal, detached from their body, sort of floating around in life, not knowing which way's up or down, totally confused. Nothing feels the same. You just want to stay inside because everything feels weird. So by setting boundaries with life, with people, with yourself, you are starting to create some order and structure that we kind of need, right? And it helps you not enter into anything toxic. And remember, one huge boundary is no toxic anywhere. Get the toxic out. So many survivors will continually be going on and on about every scary, negative media thing that they see and posting them all over the place. I can't even look sometimes. I had to ask people in groups even to please stop posting those to groups because it is not healthy. Okay, it's once in a while, like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this story. This really touched me. That's, one thing, but it's the continual need to seek the things that are driving the negative and the toxic and the darker places in our emotions that it's like it just holds you there. So get the toxic out, get the negativity out. We can't avoid life and we can't not be informed. But what I'm saying is we don't need to obsess on it and read every single article about every single horrible thing that's happening in the world. And toxic people, we don't need to give them time or attention. We don't have time. This is your time for you. Remember, not for them. It's for you. Okay. Hey, Angela. Hi. It's your first time. Yay. You've been with Angie 3 years. You are so welcome for this. Love and validation to you and all fellow survivors and to you. Thank you, Angela. Okay. So setting boundaries. All right. Forgive yourself. And I did a whole video on self-forgiveness. I'm going to read again. I did this the other day, but I'm going to read a few points really quickly on self-forgiveness because this is big for a lot of people. Why did I let it go on this long? How come how can I forgive myself for the years I wasted? I knew what was going on. How could I have not seen it? All of that. Okay. So self-forgiveness, allow the good stuff in your life. You deserve it. All right. This is really fast. Sum up of the last video I did a couple days ago. You can go back and watch the whole thing if you want. So, learning new things. We just said that. Own your own future by creating a future, not dwelling and digging into the past and continually, how I want to say this, continually beating yourself up for something. Remember that you didn't know what you couldn't know and you didn't have the big picture. You don't have the big picture until you break the trauma bonds. I'm sorry, you don't. So once you have the big picture, maybe then, okay, you can get a little, but be gentle with yourself. Be your own friend. I'm going to read the 5 questions and I'm going to go on to the next point. So we have time today. Number 1, do you have the power to change anything that has happened? So when you're feeling like you are blaming yourself, do you have the power to change anything that has happened? If you do, what can you change? If you don't, it is time to let it go. Put it in an imaginary balloon and let it go, let it go. Because there's nothing you can do about something you can't change. Number 2, do you allow for yourself to be imperfect? Are you a perfectionist because of the abuse you've had? And I've talked a lot about perfectionism, and we can talk about that another time, and it's in so many videos, but yes, remember that no one's perfect, and perfect would be boring anyway, and that it's through the imperfections in ourselves that we are innovative and creative and find joy, actually. All right. It's through not succeeding all the time that we find successes. All right. Number 3, have you learned or grown from this situation? Number 4, what are you really holding on to? What are you holding on to? Keep asking yourself those questions. And then what? And so what next? And so why? Why do I feel this? What's underneath this? Get to the root of the feeling so that you can process it. We hold on to something like, I'm just so hurt, it's hard. And we just keep telling ourselves the same 5 words. That's 6 words. Just so that we keep telling ourselves the same however many words. But really there's something deeper because we're telling ourselves that to hold us in place so that we don't have to feel that whatever we're afraid of feeling. All right. Number 5, have you begun to heal what needs healing? And if not, what do you need? All right. Okay. So self-forgiveness, those are my 5 questions I have around self-forgiveness that hopefully speak to some of you. And I realize this is really fast, but I did do a whole video on self forgiveness. So you can go back and watch that one. It has a lot more information. All right. Okay. So when you are feeling lonely, unheard, and you're trying to pick the pieces back up, start journaling. Talk to yourself. Tell your tale in a journal. Tell it as it happened. Tell it as you felt it. It doesn't even matter if you're embellishing. This is for you. Tell it as you need to tell it. Make it a story. Tell it for real. However your voice wants to say it. Tell yourself what happened. Validate yourself by writing it down. Yeah. Okay. Also along that line, separately, not in the same journal, have a separate book for gratitude, positivity, and joy. And write down 10 things you're grateful for every day. Write down 3 things you love about yourself. And I will add, write down three things you found joy in that day. At the end of the day, write down 3 things. Go looking for the joys in life itself. They can be the tiniest thing, like when I saw the moon and Venus next to each other and over the city, and it was amazing. And it still makes me happy that I saw that. Okay, so that would be what I would write down. And then what happens is when you go back and read it, when you're feeling terrible, you have the emotional connection with those things because you actually felt them. It doesn't matter how tiny they are. It can be, I saw a snail. I don't care. You will remember that day you saw the snail and how cute the snail was or how icky it was or whatever you felt, but you felt joy at the fact that this little life was, going across the trail, whatever. So whatever the thing is, okay, just, it can be tiny. It can be ridiculous. It doesn't matter. No one's judging it. And don't judge it yourself. It's just writing it down so you have memory of the fact and the feeling of the fact that you actually experienced something positive in the day. All right. So that's separate. Keep it separate from your journals about things that are dark and heavy. Please. That's important. All right. Okay. It's been the hardest time forgiving myself, healed a ton, but not with self-forgiveness. It takes time. Angie's here. What are we saying? Not today. Angie is not here right now. No. Unless she's on here watching, but I don't think so. She may be. I don't know. If she is, hey. If not, I'll talk to you later. No, not this week. She was here last week with me, and possibly tomorrow. We'll see. We're working on some time. So, okay. What are we saying? If I'm missing something, as always, if I miss a question, please just retype it. I don't track back with the chat as well as I should, and I'm trying. Okay. Okay. Journal. Recreate. So some ideas for when you're feeling lonely and you're feeling like you need to add some self-love into your life. To how to turn the feeling of loneliness into self-love is to use the alone time for things that benefit your life. Redo your environment. Even if you don't have money to redo your environment, you can always rearrange furniture, or you can take the furniture, move it out, deep clean, and put it back exactly where it was, and you have done something for yourself that is huge. It feels so good to have a clean underneath the bed and a clean, places that you don't normally clean off or wipe down. If you feel overwhelmed because things have gotten out of hand, then choose a corner and clean it up. Choose an area and clean it up and go piece by piece and motivate yourself by writing down, okay, this is what I'm doing today. This is my task list. Mark it off when you do it. At the end of the day, maybe even make a done list and write down the things that you did with a big happy face or something to show yourself that you're doing something for yourself and you're taking accountability for your life. That is when we take responsibility for something, we begin to love it, right? If you have something in your care and you are caring for it for real in the way that it needs, you form a bond with it and you form loving feelings toward it. Even if it's something you didn't know you could connect with, like yourself. All right. You're another person. If you can connect with other people, you can connect with you as a human being. And it's spending time with yourself and on the things that are caring for you that helps you feel the care, right? It's like you hold a mirror to yourself for the care that you're giving, and let it reflect back through the actions and the things and the thoughts that you have and the things that you do. It's not something you can just say, I'm lonely, make it go away. I want to love myself. This is action. It's action work. From my experience and from everything I've seen, everything about healing from emotional abuse is active. It's self-proactive. It is not something that just happens because you read a lot and you understand a lot. You can understand everything and still be miserable. Okay? It is all action, and it can get tiring, and we got to take breaks from it. Sometimes the breaks are just like having a do nothing day, or having a I don't care, I'm just going to be grumpy day. That's okay. You can take the breaks, but then get back to it, because it is an active healing. It is not a passive healing. That is why we have coaching. That's why we have group coaching in particular, because it's affordable and ongoing, so that there is, it ebbs and flows with how much the need's there, but at least it's there. And can always say, what am I doing? I'm stalled down, and so that's how I work it. That's what I feel helps people. Okay. What are we saying here? Hey, T-Berry. I do that. Make a list and check it off. Don't always finish list. You don't have to finish the list. That's the beautiful part, Chestina. That's why I say make a done list as well. Instead of a to-do list, sometimes make a done list. Like, just mix it up a little bit, because sometimes if I make list, and I mark things off, I start to feel stressed about the things I didn't do instead of realizing how much I did do. So then I'll flip it the other way, and I'll just write down, oh, I just cleaned the whole kitchen. I'll write down clean kitchen, as if I need to do it. And then at the end of the day, I'm like, whoa, I did a ton of stuff. And then I don't have the horrible feeling of, oh, I still have so much to do. Kind of like I mix it up, if that makes sense. Hey, Dara, I can understand not wallowing, but it can be very invalidating when you just found out you were cheated on for 20 years. And now being divorced is very painful. Saying think positive doesn't help, probably, is what you're going to say. No, it doesn't. You have every right to be completely angry and completely feeling whatever it is you're feeling around that. And the validation comes in supporting yourself and nurturing yourself through it, realizing that if someone is doing that to you, that is on them. That is not about you. Your worth is not wrapped up in their horrible behavior. And there is no one that would look at that and say, oh, well, that's just how it is. No, anyone saying that, and if anyone does, they are toxic and get away from you, or that's not a good person for your life. So you're right. It doesn't make none of it makes it go away. That's what I'm saying. This is an active healing, and it's all of the pieces that I'm saying here is not one thing. That's why I'm giving like as much as I can in the next, 20 minutes here before I have to go, as much as I possibly can get out of my mouth in different ideas about this. So yes, you're right. You're totally right. And it's not easy. And I'm not even saying think positive, honestly. I'm saying think forward for what you want for your life. Use this time. What I said earlier was take this time that you need to heal and really understand that this is your time for you. So that when you're focusing back on like, why did he do this? Why did she do that? Why did, why, that you can say, wait a minute, no, that's not going to help me heal. What I need to worry about is, what do I want? What do I need for my life? Does that make sense? It's shifting over it's taking it off this rail and popping it on this rail and going the other direction. You don't want to keep going down the path that you were on with them because they're toxic. So it's taking it off and go, okay, I've got derailed again. I'm back on their track. Let's get back on my track. And it's really, the positivity can come later. And when I say go seek joy, I'm talking simple, really, really simple. If something makes you even a little bit giggle, or if something makes you feel like, oh, that's cool, or that's interesting, something that takes your mind off of the abuse and the stuff you suffered, even for a second, pay attention, because that's where you learn to find your own path and your track in life versus the one that leads you down the whys and the how could they's forever. Because this is your time, right? You want to heal so that you can, yeah, okay. I'm going on and on. You're like, I totally understand. Sorry, I'll stop. Okay. Okay. Anything else? Yeah. Okay. Yes, and we all agree that it's disgusting behavior on their part and devastating, and we feel you there. So, okay. So another thing, instead of recreating your environment, you can recreate yourself. You can get a new hairdo, a new hair color, buy some makeup, if you're a guy or whatever, get some clothes, whatever your thing is. Go do something to like change your own appearance, to make yourself feel better. Take a class that is uh exercise or something. I'm always big on the movement. So start walking, start exercising, start doing things for yourself and your body and your looks and your well-being so that you feel better about yourself. However you want to present yourself is up to you right now. Okay. Sometimes we just need to cry. Sometimes when we're lonely, we need to express it. We need to get it out. We need to cry. We need to feel it. We need to feel it. What are we asking for when we're feeling it? We're asking for support. We're asking for love. We're asking for understanding, for someone to be there, someone to hold us, someone to nurture us. Whatever your thing is, figure it out and give it to yourself. It's not going to be the same as somebody giving it to you. No. But you know what? Sometimes it can be more powerful and more. And as you learn, here's the thing, as you learn what it is, okay, when you're in a toxic relationship, you don't get your needs met. Your emotional needs are never met. You may feel like you need, I don't know, a hug when you're crying, or you need to be heard or to be understood, or someone just to sit there and say, yeah, I hear you, whatever. You're never going to get that for real from a toxic person. No. So we've been depleted for so long. Sometimes we never had it. Sometimes we've never had a healthy relationship where someone just is just with you when you're not feeling it, right? When you're feeling terrible. And so we don't know. So how can we know how to give it to ourselves when we don't even know what we need? So as you are taking this time for yourself and understanding that this is your time for you, this healing, this loneliness is about being alone in a good way. It's to discover you, okay? And as you are discovering what it is that nurtures you, start giving it to yourself. There may be things you can't give, of course. Just like you could have the most perfect partner in the world and they can't give you everything, right? But you learn to be your own nurturing source, at least in the very least, knowing what you need. And until you know what you need, how can you ask for it from anyone else? You can't. So, and that's not to say we need to always be, I went too far the other direction and I got where I did not need anyone. Okay. And that's not good. It doesn't give me what I need in my life, which is connection with other people. So I'm unlearning some of this. So I'm stating it a little more gently than the way I would have before, which is, now that I know what I need, I know how to ask for it from others. You know what I need? I just need you to listen right now. Can you do that? Yes, I can do that. Like, I have some great friends and I'll just say, you know what? Don't tell me, don't try to help. Just listen. And they'll be like, okay. And I'm like, I'm just venting, or I need to figure this out for myself. Ask me questions, whatever it is. I know that what helps me because I have spent this time with myself. Okay. So does that make sense? Okay. All right. I hope so, because I'm all talked out with that one. All right. Okay. What are we saying here? I'm starting to yell. Okay. Yeah, I'm a crier. You got to ask me twice. Yes, it's okay. All right. We need to talk to ourselves with compassion also. Yes, we do. We do need to talk to ourselves with compassion. When you are feeling, basically turning loneliness into the most delicious alone time is meaning that you really enjoy time with yourself, is part of that, right? You have to have compassion and you have to have the same empathy you'd have for anyone else in that situation for yourself. We just don't know what to do because we've been not only not taught, but we have been completely manipulated and lost. We've lost our sense of self. So it's gaining the sense of self that you discover all of these things. Okay. It's connection with others. I need been isolated. And yes, I get that. And so start seeking it out. I mean, and again, that is why I have the group coaching. That is why, seriously, is the main reason and the main thing I hear from people who stick around in there for long periods of time is many people in there have said they've never felt like they belonged, and they have never felt, and they struggled with even being there because they don't feel like they are meant for groups because they don't fit in. And what happens is they find a place because it's safe. They find a place to have a voice and a place to feel supported. Of course, it's at a distance and we're not like actually hanging out, but it gives the sense of it in a different way. So So that then hopefully in their lives, they're able to recreate that. All right. Okay. Okay, you guys. Let's see. So let me go over a couple self-care ideas before I end here. If anyone has anything they want to talk about, go for it. Any questions or anything? I don't need to hog the forum here. All right, here we go. All right, gonna go through. I have a list of self-care ideas. I'm just gonna read them. All right. Yes, community groups you can join where you're not too involved. Exactly. You can stay at whatever. That's where once you learn boundaries, you can stay at whatever distance you need to stay to feel like you're doing what you want to do within that group. You don't have to be completely immersed in something to get some connection from people. Just listeningly. Okay. Okie doke. All right. Okay. Real quick, I have to go. What time is it? I have to go in 15 minutes. So quickly, some self-care ideas. All right. And then they may be repeats from what I just said, because this is an older list that I found and I thought, okay, I'm going to read this. Okay, I'm going to do it now. Really this time. Self-care, self-gratitude. We talked about that. Have a separate journal. 10 things you love 10 things you're grateful for. 3 things you love about yourself. As Angie tells you all the time, I will add in the next one, seek simple joy. Find 3 things each day that you find joy in. You can replace the word joy with whatever you want. Positivity, delight, happiness, relaxation, anything that feels the direction you want to go with your life. Okay, for me, it's joy and curiosity, whatever your thing is. All right, seek it and write them down in that journal before you go to bed, so that you have and feel it when you're writing them. Try to connect back with them. That's how we learn to have connection again, is by learning to connect. Well, one way, by learning to connect through our emotions to the experiences we have. It's how we learn to trust connection. Okay, if the connection felt wrong, I don't trust it and I don't go into it anymore. Because I'm not desperate for the connection, right? Okay. Number 3, change your routine. Drive a different route, do something different, change it up a little. Routine is needed. Routine is great. It also can create stagnation and lack of change. And if we're looking for change, we got to shake it up a little. Littlest changes can create a change of attitude, a change of perspective. We need that every now and then. So yes, have your routines that you have that you need, but change them up now and then. Okay. Number 4, pay attention to a task you normally kind of space out on. Focus on being in the moment. Learning to be mindful in your life can help you a lot. It can bring you into the present moment. It makes your worries and your concerns and the stresses of your emotions be there. They're still there, of course, but they're on the outside of what you're feeling in the moment. So you get breaks from it and you also have a more full life, okay? Number 5, play. For goodness sakes, stop being so serious. Play, laugh and be silly, okay? Seriously, not seriously. Really though, play, find play. If you don't know how, just start playing with it. Really, we all have our own form of humor. Find humor, watch humor, whatever it is. Find something joyful, playful. Okay. How about the task we dislike doing the most? You know what I do with those is I use those to think positive thoughts. I have transformed folding laundry from a most hated to whatever, I'll do it. Through just, instead of sitting there going, I hate this stupid clothes and getting mad at it, I go, no, I can choose my thoughts. It's the same way we learn to pattern interrupt. I'm not trying to convince myself that I love it. What I'm trying to do is experience the moment in a little bit less of a horrible way. Okay. So it's not avoiding and completely dissociating. It's choosing the thoughts that are going along with it. I don't need to be sitting there angry about something I don't like doing. All right. If it hurts, that's one thing. But if it's just things I just hate doing, yeah. Make it therapy, right? Make everything about creating the life you want, right? If you can. And actually, those are really important times because you've got all this energy. You've got all this negative energy. If you can transform that negative energy into something that flows forward instead of something that keeps you stuck in the negative energy, then you have used that powerful energy for something good, right? Okay. Get silly, check. Okay. All right. So when you feel one self-care thing, maybe you're feeling like everything is falling apart. Fix one small thing, just one tiny thing. Fix it, write it down. I fixed that thing. Okay. Number 8, meditate daily. Mindfulness meditations, super useful for everyone in the entire world, super useful for survivors. 5 to 10 minutes. I'm not talking about long ones, short, so that you are not um, most people can manage 5-minute meditation, especially if it's guided. Okay. And that makes it successful, and it gives you that time to slow down and become more present and more mindful. Okay. It's lots of information on that. So I'm going to leave it there. Number 9, do one small thing each day that's just for fun or just because. Life doesn't have to be a series of chores. All right. Number 10, declutter a small area. Number 11, this is a good one. Set some time each day to unplug. Half an hour, an hour, where you've got no media, no phone, no interruptions, just you and yourself. Go take a walk, go do something for yourself in that time. Sit in the silence. I love doing that. But yeah, it's break the addiction to it, to the need for constant stimulation. Okay. Do things that push your comfort zone for self-care. I'm going to leave it at that. No toxic people. Number 13, no toxic people. Get them out. If you have to have them in your life for whatever reason, keep it business-like, short and to the point, and done. Like, that's it. All right. Number 14, take a walk. 15, be in nature. 16, exercise, stretch, dance, whatever it is. Dancing, yoga, things like that are really, really good for healing. Just going to leave it there. They're body positive, and they force posture into a more upright posture. And when your posture is more upright, you will feel better. I have had people where I've done some NLP exercises with them, and one of them was, simply just sit up, and everyone felt totally different about, like, they were thinking about the problem. They sat up and they had different perspective on the problem. Sat up with mindful intention to do so, right? Not just like, oh, it didn't work. But, okay. All right. Endorphins, everyone. That's right. There's that too. Okay. All right. Okay. Simplify your foods and eat well. That's another one. Or indulge in something really yummy. Whatever you need to do. Whatever you're doing, it's changing it up, right? Learning to self-soothe, like hugging yourself, giving yourself some nurturing, things like that. Other self-care ideas. Pay attention to where you're judging yourself. And ask yourself, would I judge anyone else that harshly? Would I judge anyone else? And if the answer is yes, maybe that's something to look at. If the answer is no, I would hold the person accountable, but I would not judge them. Then listen to how you're talking to yourself and restate the way you're talking to yourself so that you are kinder and more compassionate with yourself and patient. Okay. So I'm going to leave it there for right now because this is super long. There's a whole video on this where I go through, I think it's like 30 tips for self-care. So go watch that if you need all of these in long form, because I got to end here in a minute and I'll make sure there's nothing else anyone else wants to talk about. So those are some ways to give yourself self-care. Going back to the original topic, to take that loneliness and turn it into self-love. Okay, to learning to love alone time so that you can focus on yourself, and knowing that this is a time for most people. Most people say, don't date for a year. There's a reason. It's not because you're so damaged. Okay, you guys, it's because it's time to relearn who you are and focus on yourself and create the life that you would like. Because then when you invite someone into it, you are way more discerning about the type of people that come into it, because you don't want to go back where you were, and you want the life to continue to move forward and flow towards the things you want. And that way, you know what you need in another person. There's a whole It's a whole reason for all of this. Okay. So give yourself the time and take the time, and you don't need to be alone forever. No. And maybe you want to be, and that's okay too. Okay. But loneliness, no, we don't need to feel that forever. All right. Okay. Yeah. All right. Anything you guys had that I missed? Because otherwise, hey Jack, I missed saying hello to you. Um, I can't sit in silence. My brain starts talking to me, not always in a good way. Like, yeah, and that's where having some things, thoughts to think about, some things to plan, some positive daydreams, whatever it is you need to do. It's sort of self-directed. If you let yourself just sit there and let your mind spin, of course, right? Okay. All right. Okay. Anything else? Comfort food, yes. All right. All right, you guys. So I hope that was helpful for the loneliness thing. And you guys, you're not alone. This is a lonely time, right? When you are recovering from narcissistic abuse, it does feel that way. And you're not alone in feeling that. And there is help and resources, peer groups, support groups, coaching, and therapy out there if you need it. So check it out if you need that. And try some of these tips. Remember that none of this is an overnight fix, right? This is drops in a bucket and the bucket fills. Okay, you got to just trust that what you are doing is banking on your health and your well-being instead of banking on continuing to stay in the abusive feelings that you've had however long you've been with an abusive partner. So it's a slow process. Unfortunately, it's slower than we want it to be. Sometimes you have great leaps and bounds, and sometimes it feels like you're slipping backwards. It's all completely normal. Yeah. Lots more tips on other videos as well for similar things. So check them out. If you would like texting notification of my going live, and to anyone new here, if you've not hit subscribe and the thumbs up. If you want texting notification, text me at 33222. Put the words Lise Live, LISE, one word. Hit send, and I will text you about 10 minutes prior to being live. If you ever have a topic that you want me to talk about, hit me up. You can just leave it in any comment section, preferably not in chat because I miss them there, but in any comment of any video, and I write them down and use them as I'm able to get to them. And if you ever have questions or want to do more Q&A stuff on here, feel free to ask anything that's going on in your life that you need help with. I'm here for it. And that's that. Okay. When I was lonely the other day, I told the group here with a comment on the video, and it helped. Excellent. Okay. Okay. You take out tonight after cleaning. All right, you guys. Thank you for joining me, and welcome to new people who are here. And I guess that's it for today. I will see you tomorrow, perhaps with Angie. We'll see. We're working on it. It'll be early. It'll be early Pacific. If we do it, it'll be about 8:30 or 9 Pacific. So that's 10:30-ish or so Central. Which means I'll be like, hey, I just got up. It's okay. And I don't know what we're talking about. We haven't gotten that far. We're getting it. We're working on it. All right. So you are so welcome. Okay. Take care, you guys. I'll see ya. Bye-bye. Now I have to find the ending thing because I have my screen set up funny. There we go. Bye.